Man, I really got to get some better, more upbeat music because I thought we were in like church or something.
You are not wrong, as they say.
Hey guys, it's John the Net Guy. I'm joined here with Dan from PC Tech Hustle and Joe from Pinky Tech. And Joe, you want to tell people about yourself and what you're doing on my channel again?
Yes, I am Pinky Tech. I am here to carry the show because, John has trouble with that sort of thing. So I am here. You can find me Pinky Tech on most socials. Easiest way is to go over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Pinky Tech. Click on this big red subscribe button, and then you can click on all these links over here that say Discord, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff.
I'm feeling lame because I don't have that yet.
It's literally a field. You just copy and paste the links. It's easy, John.
I'm
I'll
gonna
show
have
you how to
to.
do it later. It's fine.
You can train me. Yeah, we'll have to do a screen share or something maybe. Awesome, Dan. You want to take us away?
Alrighty, yeah. Hey guys, what's going on? Dan with PC Tech Hustle. If you are not aware of who I am, been growing my YouTube channel. I think here alongside John here for a while, and yeah, just all about the budget gaming PC builds and trying to do that thing. So especially nowadays, a very very hard thing to do, but I'm still out there for you guys trying to do that, and yeah, visit my channel if you haven't already, and I cover lots of budget PC building content. Hit me with some love.
I
Back
like
to
it.
you,
I like it.
Joe.
Well, and I guess I have to go do that same intro too. This is John the Net Guy, as I mentioned. You can catch me on apparently only YouTube up there or
Only.
Amazon Live. I've been breaking into those. You're probably seeing me, hustle a bunch of parts. And the other thing I got to point out, and I don't know if I have it here, also totally active on Twitter. And you could have seen behind the scenes all the craziness that is going on over here. That's the studio I'm in, getting ready. And then we actually, right before the show, I had the tab. Everybody knows this. The tab broke off of my Ethernet. And that's the main one that's powering the show. So I'm like, do I just tape it in? My luck, something would happen, right?
It seems like duct tape would have been an appropriate solution.
Yeah, or gaffer tape,
Mhm.
But
Definitely.
thank
There
you
you go.
guys for joining me. We're doing, I don't know what we even call this, nerd news, I think, Monday edition.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all relate. So let's at least attach our name to that for now, unless we come up with
Yep.
better ideas.
Absolutely, absolutely. And part of this, I was talking with the guys. I actually got to see you, Dan. Well, what, a week and a half ago now.
Yeah.
Um, that was kind of fun, in person, IRL, as they say. So we got to hang out and share some dinner, and then I had a heck of a week. I had a lot
Sure
longer
did.
stay in Texas than I wanted. That was completely unintentional. I'm gonna check the chat real fast here. Hey, we've got some people already. Wow. Okay, we got
Heck
Andrew.
yeah.
He's coming in here with the greetings, and then we got Skull, obviously. You know, um, Kren had to work, but he's got our Australian connection. So, and oh, awesome! Got to say hi to Zach. He is in here as well. You'll
He's
notice,
already trolling
Joe.
my background. So
Yeah, I just noticed that your
Clean
camera's
slate.
looking so much better, Joe.
yeah, that's because of you. But you already knew that and just wanted me to tell everybody how great of a person you are. That's the only
Yeah,
reason.
that was all super chats from a few of these
Yeah.
guys here, but no, absolutely, absolutely. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get this over to the right computer here,
Yeah,
and
and
we're gonna
Zach,
do
it's a different wall. That's I actually hung the Spider-Man poster and then set up everything to where so yeah, you can see the Spider-Man poster now, and then I've got my table of stuff, and then yeah, I've got some plans for the other side of that wall. But if this is going to be a regular thing, which it might be, then yeah, we're definitely going to have to get some more stuff because other than that, I've got like a poster right here or a little plaque right here for when the Bucks won the Super Bowl, and that's it over there. So it's a work in progress. Work in progress.
Always
got
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You better believe it. You better believe it. Well, let me start out with what happened to moi here. Oh, see, I just tapped the wrong person. I got to figure out how to run a
Not
computer
me.
again.
It
Let's
Yeah.
see if I can get that person. See, it was tapped
wasn't
there
my
and
it
then
wasn't my fault, by the way.
troll. Yeah, exactly. But no, definitely coming closer here for this one. Yeah, I have to give a disclaimer, and only because I don't want us to get demonetized, except for Joe.
Yeah.
We realize it's not going to matter for his channel yet, but we'll get there. We'll
Fine.
get you there. Quick little disclaimer, because we are going to talk about the Rona, my unintended experience with the Rona and what happened there. The information you're about to hear is for entertainment, because it was funny, not funny, but funny, and informational purposes. It is not and should not be considered medical advice. Please consult your licensed and credentialed functional medical provider before embarking on any health, dietary, or fitness changes. Do you think I covered that right, guys?
Sounded professional.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable. I'm not a lawyer, so
Yeah.
Well, somebody
I'm
else
neither
hired a
of that.
lawyer, and then I stole that.
There you
So
go.
I figured that
Perfect.
was pretty much safe at that point, But yeah, I went through the Rona, and I am vaxxed, boosted, and masked, and I still got it. And so, it's interesting because I had a business trip that I didn't necessarily want to go on. You know how you have those where it's like, okay, you can, you can't, and with the whole Omicron going around, I was really pensive of it. But we're going through a merger, and about a week before the email went out that, oh, by the way, you have a new boss and a new executive. It's like,
yeah.
and they're all going to be in this meeting, and I'm like, oh, okay, so my old boss is gone, new boss, I gotta go on this trip essentially. And I did go get my booster right before the trip, actually, and through some shenanigans and stupid stuff with Walgreens website, I got it the day before I left. I literally had it on Sunday and then was flying the next day. And this trip was supposed to be 3 nights. I was supposed to come in Monday, come back Thursday, and 4 days, and get 3 days of meetings in and whatnot. And it turned out to be a lot longer than that. I have a couple pictures in the slideshow. You guys want to see the slideshow? You
Let's
ready
do
for
it.
this?
Heard up.
Oh yeah. Let me get that screen up here. This is our first time using the fanciness that is Restream. So this was my testing, and my wife gives me nothing but grief about testing. I don't know, because it's one of those things that's kind of like a snipe hunt, right? You don't know if you have it. You have to test. People are asymptomatic. So, even however I got it, you know, that person may not even have known they had it. And that's the weirdest thing about it. And so I tested, this was in the car. You can see my park neutral drive indicator there. So that was on the way to the airport, because I was like, I'm going to find out right before. There was me in the airport with my KN95 all dolled up and ready to go. This was the second day. So after we had dinner, Dan, and then, I went back to the hotel the next day, right before the big set of meetings. I ended up taking another test just to be safe. And
He
so,
didn't trust me.
no,
Got
it's got
that
a couple,
guy.
2-3
That
days
Texas guy.
gestation, but yeah, the Texas guy. And so then, went to my meetings and whatnot. And then this happened. I went to, actually, I should say I watched the Talking Heads on that Wednesday, and I literally took a picture of the cool IPA I was going to have. And sure enough, I wasn't even feeling good enough to drink that IPA like that Wednesday night. I was like, something is off, right? You know how I
That
get that
sounds
feeling?
terrible.
Mm.
Yeah, and not willing to drink. It's the patient's sick when he doesn't want his IPA, right?
Right.
So I
I
woke
thought
up. It was
APAs
like,
made you sick.
no. That's the other thing. I felt embarrassed. I was like, man, I got to send this picture to them so they know it was real Rona, and not just IPA Rona. But sure enough, I took this at 5:30 in the morning. I woke up with a headache and a fever, and I couldn't tell what my fever was because I'm on a business trip. But the little tiny line there, I'm like, oh, that's just a baby line. It's like baby Rona, right? Sure enough, I'm reading the thing. It's like anything on this line is positive. So if you turn this thing on at all, it's like kind of pregnant, maybe.
Yeah,
I
can't
don't
be a
know.
little bit pregnant. You're all or none. So
So after that, I actually took another one, and you can see this one's actually even a tiny bit darker, but it was never really perfect yes or no. See, they haven't gone digital, so was not a Clear Blue Easy or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And then my boss, who actually came along the trip with me, we were riding in the same car together, staying at the same hotel, hanging out. I said, "Hey, can you grab me some more tests? Because I'm completely out. I got to know if I've got this, and a thermometer because I'm feeling hot, but I couldn't. I didn't have what I wanted to have with me, right? And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today. Was like, what's your everyday carry for tech stuff, obviously, because being stuck an extra 5 days like I was on this trip really opened my eyes to the things that you do or don't need. But yeah, sure enough, 100.4 degrees. This was where things got to be a little bit interesting. This is the care package that my work dropped off for me the very first morning. So that within hours of knowing that I was going to be laid up,
Wow.
the admins were just awesome. I'm not sure what the little Christmas masks are for in the corner there, but it's like, oh, sorry, you've already got it, but here's some masks for you.
Yeah. Don't give it to
But,
anyone else.
but I actually
it's a heck
used
of a
all that
package.
stuff. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
awesome. I totally used up all of the drugs, the vitamins. Definitely in my body was like, wait, you took away the IPAs, and now I'm getting flooded with all these letters of vitamins. It had no idea
Right.
what was going on, right? And then, in case of emergency only, and I don't recommend this, they also drop this off, just two,
There's no
which we
IPA in that one.
no IPA. It's definitely heavily weighted towards the whiskeys, we found out later, but
Hey, that's
that's
all
what
right.
they did for us. Yeah. And the sad part was, and the thing that I didn't know was actually going to be more emotional was just being away from the kids and the family for an extra 5 days minimum. And that's even questionable of how long you have to stay with this new one. I know they lowered it in Washington State. They've had nurses that were positive but asymptomatic back to work like in 2 days.
Yep.
So yeah, and you can test positive for up to 90 days afterwards. So it's really hard. But that's my wife was really cool. I did the FaceTiming thing, and so that worked out really well. But let me check the chat real quick here, and I'll go through a little bit more of what we got going on. I'm just going to check that over real fast. Hey, Novella came and joined with us. Awesome. Yeah, you feel the storm brewing, you go to bed early. That's what Andrew says to us, and that was absolutely right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it, but Talking Heads comes on way later in Dan's time zone than my time zone. It's kind of a
Yeah.
West Coast drinking show, apparently. But
Yeah. I try to catch it when I can, but most of the time those guys are on, and I'm already getting ready to end the night. So yeah,
yeah,
Yeah. It's
absolutely.
Thursday morning with coffee for me.
even
So
later for you. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
an extra hour tacked onto it. So
yeah, that's yours is more like a podcast after the fact, right, than a live show.
exactly, it
Yeah.
goes great before. Well, it's basically an hour of catching up on tech, and then an hour of just going through and listening to Star Wars and Star Trek and all that good stuff. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, and what's interesting actually, I felt so much better the next day. So I stayed over. I had to move all my flights. I had to extend in the hotel. And then
yeah,
I'm kind of in this like, okay, what do I do in this hotel room that doesn't have a microwave? It's got like a mini fridge. No, it's the standard, not even a Keurig, but like I can maybe lukewarm some water for you.
right.
And I've got a bunch of, top ramen and stuff. And so I'm like, okay, what do I do? And sure enough, the stuff hit the fan. I was like, okay, I need to have a mouse. I didn't have a mouse even. It was that
Yeah,
bad. So I had to DoorDash myself a mouse. I had brought like my extra laptop and an extra drive just in case, and another pair of clothes, just in case. But
right.
I ended up door dashing a mouse. And the thing that kind of made me mad about that is the mouse was a Bluetooth combo mouse, and it was like $35 from Office Max. It was half price, and I didn't get the sale price from DoorDash. The
Oh,
dude kept
nice.
it.
Yeah,
I'm like, great. Yeah, exactly. But there was like silly stuff that I didn't have. Let me go here. So I obviously was doing some footage there, and I edit with Final Cut Pro, so I was able to do that. That was pretty cool. And more stuff that was just getting delivered. It was crazy. And I only ate I should say 3 meals total in those extra 5+ days, and that were not in this bag, this setup here. I had a bunch
yeah,
of top ramen. That was fun. And then I had like pho the first day. I did a DoorDash for that. And then Dan brought me a Whataburger.
Oh yeah.
I
Nice.
had never had that, so that was kind of fun. And I felt bad because I hadn't been texting you. I was like doing something else, and then my phone rings in the hotel room, and they're like, "There's this crazy guy down here. Should I let him know you're here?"
He said he's about to eat your burger if you don't pick up the phone. So,
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
so
But
curious with Washington, do they have In and Out up there, or is that more California?
we don't have In and Out up here that I know of.
Oh
You don't
man,
see a lot of those. Yeah.
that's the big craze here in Texas too. It's like In and Out showed up in Texas like probably at least half a decade ago or so, and they kind of sprout up everywhere, and everybody was all about it. And I'm like, no, nothing's better than Whataburger. So,
Mhm.
and when you said you haven't had one yet, and you've been to Texas before, I'm like, got him. He's getting
And that
it.
was the thing. Like I ate half of it, and then I tried again. One other thing that people were like, "Oh, your oxygen level," and that was kind of scary because you read about all the coronavirus stuff and how people, and some of my friends even that are up here that caught it up here have had some really bad outcomes and weeks of sickness and whatnot.
Mm.
And a pulse oximeter. Now, this is obviously my watch. That's what I had. They're no good. I actually put the same watch on a potato, and I think it was 99. So the potato apparently is doing slightly better, but it's all just light, right? They're using light waves. But that was the thing, is I felt so good by the next day. I was like, I got to test again. And sure enough, as soon as this thing hit, it was like, it's darker than the control line. It's like,
Oh, jeez.
bam. I was like, you're full blown Rona here. So I didn't get a PCR test in the end. Partially, well, one, I didn't want to be back on the, restart the whole timer and be there another, 10 days from there or whatever they were going to add on to it if they
Right.
decided. But, the room was kind of interesting. It did have, the basics. And that was one of the things that I was like, okay, should I have brought one of these, which I didn't bring, a Chromecast or something, right? Like the TV had Netflix on it, but that was the only thing. And obviously Paramount's got all the cool stuff now. Right?
Right.
So that
I
was
always bring
one
an
of,
HDMI cable because, like, I know a lot of the TVs now in the hotels are starting to get, Netflix and some of the streaming services and stuff like that. I don't want to sign
yep.
into my account on a shared TV, forget to log it out or something like that. But, I can log in on my computer, HDMI connected to the TV, and then just cast it from there. That way it's not you're not logging in on someone else's device and all that good stuff that goes along with security that I just would
Man,
prefer
you
not to
sound
have
like
to
you
deal
work in
with.
IT or something.
It's only been like almost 2 decades, but yeah, I've got some experience there.
That was number 2 item on the DoorDash. With the mouse came a 6-foot HDMI cable because I didn't bring one.
Yeah.
But of course, because it's a MacBook, it has 11,000 adapters. I did bring the adapter. I just didn't bring the cable. I
Mhm.
was silly. But no, that was absolutely true. And that was the other thing, like for everyday carry tech, I was like waiting for people to go, yeah, you need like an RJ45 crimper.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not my everyday. But no, I carry, if they could make a crimper on a Leatherman, that would be awesome.
That would be
Yeah,
great.
right. They need a network Leatherman, and it
That
has
would
like
be,
a mini
Yeah.
crimper on it and stuff like that, the wire stripper for it. So
I love it. I love it. If they can keystone it down at least, right? Little keystone tool on the
exactly.
Leatherman. But no, that was the thing is, I didn't have anything sharp. Like I was trying to open up some of these bags and test kits and whatever, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even have nail clippers, and so that was something I remember when I went to Mexico. I was like, I had a Mexico travel kit, and I also didn't have any ibuprofen, any acetaminophen. NyQuil the first night was all I took, and that was awesome. Like I slept like a
Yeah.
baby. I slept better than I
Hmm.
sleep back here. So, having some sort of basic first aid stuff, no matter where you go, I think would be a good thing. Especially like in my Mexico first aid kit, I got suture scissors. Can I say that 7 times fast?
I don't think you say
But
it one time fast.
I couldn't even do that. But it has blunted ends, so as you're cutting, like it'll go underneath, medical tape and other stuff.
Right.
So I've never been stopped with blunted end scissors, basically. So it's like, what am I going to
Hmm.
do? Like, cut your tie off or something, you know.
Right.
So that was another interesting thing. And then surprisingly, and I've started to do this more now after this trip, cash money. Like literally, I gave my last couple $2-3 to the valet guy, the bus driver for the car. But that was interesting because I've been there so long I had to do laundry.
Right.
Shoot, yeah.
And sure enough, they had laundry, which is awesome. But I had to get, there's my room key with my little fabric softener, but it was, $2 for this, $2 for that. And what are you going to
Yeah.
do? Bill that to the room and be like, give me quarters? I don't know.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you do what you got to do sometimes. I had a situation where my luggage was lost, and which was coincidentally the last time I checked luggage on a business trip, but it was lost. And then, yeah, basically rewashing clothes and all that good stuff to take care of me while I was trying to get new clothes and all that good stuff. And yeah, I've run into that before too, where it's like, crap, I just spent my last $5, and then you're doing silly charges, $1 for a soda to the room and all this other stuff because you just didn't have any cash. So
Mhm.
Yep. No, and I've been a big Dave Ramsey fan forever, and he's always about
Mhm.
paying cash for everything because most
Yeah.
of the time, other than on apparently an airplane, everybody takes cash.
Right.
But
Yeah.
this was one of those things where I was completely out of cash and I was not able to go to a cash machine. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, here, DoorDash, go get me some cash.
Right. Yeah.
I give you
Not
some
really,
cash.
but
Give me some cash.
Just go pick
I'm
this up for me,
hey, go to the cash machine. Here's my pin. Wait.
Yeah.
So Zach says here he always takes his NVIDIA Shield with him. I'm still waiting for my Stream Deck. Or Steam Deck. I get those backwards.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, so that was the other thing is some amount of cash. Even if you gotta put it in, it's like your mad money, you put it in your travel bag and you never touch it kind of thing. I know we do that in our
Mhm.
cars. I shouldn't tell anybody
Yeah.
that. But yeah, we keep money like at least $50-$60 in your car for whatever emergency. And that was for my wife because like we had a really dodgy, credit card we use for everything. And they would start to randomly stop it. And if she was in another town low on gas, it's like, let's not deal with that. Have cash at least, right? So that's one thing. But what is my everyday carry bag missing was my question. I want to throw that out to the chat here. So if you guys are watching, and you guys will have to proxy some of the chats in here too, but I would love to hear what you guys are carrying. Couple things, obviously, that I carry in my tech stuff would be a USB key, but like in this case, I was stuck trapped at a hotel. I could have all the storage I want. It wasn't going to really like improve things, right?
Yeah. I will normally carry a 5-port USB charger. Because the issue I run into now is the laptops are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, which is great when you have to run through an airport, especially if you're going through like Chicago, where it's just
Yep.
miles of just running around. But you get like 1 or 2 USB ports max, and when you've got a watch and a smartphone and all this other stuff that we carry nowadays that need USB power, having that one outlet that you can plug into and plug up 5 or 6 devices to it makes it a lot easier. So
Oh, heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and what do you guys think about these guys? USB power bricks, like backup power bricks. That one's got 3 ports on it, right?
That's what I was gonna say that I usually travel with is something like that, especially if you're say running around on the go, like in a city area where you need mobile power, and if you're using a iPhone 10 like I am, that's really old, the battery goes out pretty quick. So yeah, definitely that's always one of my go-to carry items as well when I'm traveling. Just business, anything those are coming with me. So absolutely.
If you guys type longer sentences, I can cover Dan completely, just so you know, in the chat.
I'm on. Hello.
You had to move around. That's awesome. 2700 milliamp hour battery pack. That's I think what this Rav Power one is. The other stuff that I carry, like travel router, and that's got the plug-in. And I did actually. It was funny. I was talking to the guys in the Craft Computing Discord, and I'm like, "Hey, look what was behind my desk when I pulled it out."
Nice.
It's like, and the funny thing is, and actually, sorry, I got to go full screen for a
They
sec
should
so you guys
probably
can see
clean
this.
that.
It was looking a little rough, but you notice on the bottom of it, 4-port integrated switch on this Ruckus. I'm like,
PoE on the first one. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if you seriously need to do some mining, we take the PoE power off the main switch. They won't even know. They won't even know. But no, travel routers, like if I was smart and I could, and I never actually did honestly plug into those other LAN ports, but a lot of people were saying they work. But put my own router in there, and I'm not worried about, like, they were trying to upcharge for faster internet at that Marriott that I was at, and I'm like, I don't want to pay extra, but if I can get my own 5G travel router, right?
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I never.
Yep.
That's pretty. What brand is that manufactured?
This one is actually, this is just a TP Link one, and it's micro
okay.
USB powered, so you
Cool.
can plug it into any charger. And then it has a bunch of different modes. So it goes from sharing the Ethernet mode to shared hotspot mode to AP extension client mode. So it's got like a bunch of different, it's just all manual switch on the side. So
Nice.
super low tech, and it comes with the password on the back. I didn't show that, did I? But no, you can set it up the way you want. But no, I literally carry a 20-foot net cable and a USB because, of course, nothing that I own nowadays has an Ethernet connection on it.
Right.
Especially
Yeah.
using that Mac. Yeah, they don't. They like to Thunderbolt and proprietize the heck out of.
I am
everything.
so happy that they're finally coming to their senses and actually putting ports on, because that's literally, like, I had to have a dongle with me just to display on a TV, and hopefully we'll get to the day where we can do that.
Right.
Oh, see, he read it, and he actually covered all of us up.
Yeah.
Power brick. What's a Mayu Mini?
I'm not sure what that is.
Retroid Pocket 2. Oh yeah, he's into the games. Yeah, awesome. So you can do
some things
game
to
emulation.
Yeah, cool.
Plays Atari
Awesome.
all the way to N64.
That would have been probably pretty good for you, John, considering
Yeah.
you were kicked up for a while and probably looking for dying for some entertainment. So.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. But I won't belabor this section for too long. But that's, again, kind of what I went through. This was the night before I left. I had everything packed. I was so
You were
ready
ready.
to get out of here. I'm
You
like,
were ready.
I'm going to make sure it all fits. And, my wife had actually done a couple nice things. I missed her on my little COVID update I did on my channel. And I about had to, like, look for a new house when I was coming back. She's like, you better not be coming back here. So I think I'm in for, like, a really expensive Valentine's present now. If anybody's got any ideas, I gotta make up for it. It can't be a YouTube.
Usually something sparkly will do it. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But she sent something that was really cool, because I did make a couple, like, Mission Impossible trips down to the microwave downstairs in the hotel, because they had like one communal microwave in the lobby, and you couldn't find my fingerprint if you wanted to. I'm like triple masked and bubble suit and whatever. But she sent me, believe it or not, a full size tea kettle, like a glass kettle. And I thought it was so funny because I can't carry anything sharp, but I can carry this massive, glass, not tempered, I'm sure, orb that could break into like a million knives. That's okay. You can take that on the plane. So yeah, I took that back, and the hotel sheets are awful everywhere you go. So she sent me a big blanket and whatnot. But that was the scary thing, is like, you hear so much about COVID and you don't know, am I going to have trouble breathing? Like, we have a friend up here that she's had, a horrible time with this, has trouble breathing at night, all that stuff. And her husband was over it in like a day.
Yeah.
So
that's tough.
Getting pretty scary. Other thing that would have been nice, in the hotel room, I had like one plastic fork that I had brought. So I'm like, my sister bought me one of these and I hadn't put it back in, but it's a metal spork. It literally has a can opener, a couple things that you can do. And that was like, okay, that would be kind of cool just to have for something. Another cool thing that I would have liked was some sort of cup of anything. I literally had to go buy a ceramic mug on DoorDash. That was another thing I had to bring, because I'm here for 9 days, right?
Yeah.
And I've got like 2 paper cups, and I can't have the maid come in and totally redo my room. So yeah, I actually did. I have like the cleanest 9-day room she's probably ever seen. I'll put that out there. So, but yeah, I'm going to check the chat real quick just to see if there's anything else that other people may have had experience with here. Mini flash drive binder. Interesting. Mini flash drive binder. Like a slotted one there.
Yeah, that's I guess Now, having a flash drive in general is always good, just in case. I mean,
But like, do
especially
even companies let you put those in your machines anymore?
not
Mine
many.
doesn't unless they're encrypted.
Well,
Very often.
where being a network engineer, where I use mine is like if I need to copy a iOS code that is can fit on a drive, then I can plug it into a switch or a router and actually copy to the device. That's probably my biggest use case. But as far as plugging stuff into a laptop or something, DLP is going to get me there. So
Yeah.
unless you
I'm not.
run the
I'm not
show.
saying that I may or may not have complete access to all said settings to
Override
create what
everything.
I need. But yes, that could be a problem for some. I could see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so that was my COVID adventure for sure. It was an interesting trip. I came back at 5 days exactly. Like I was symptomatic 5 days from my last test, and I'm in the CDC scouring all their stuff, trying to figure out, do I got to stay the full 10? They were saying
Yeah.
you're not contagious. You're contagious Tuesday, 2 days before symptoms, and 2 to 3 after. So I've already been there 5, and then 6 was the day I flew back. But it was funny because I'm filling out the American Airlines thing. It's like, haven't tested positive in 5 days. I'm like, no, I have not tested in 5 days. 5 days
By
ago,
default, if I
yeah,
haven't tested it, it can't be positive.
I parsed my words very carefully. Obviously, but yeah, I won't spend too much time on this, but it really did make me wonder. And now the next time I go, I'm driving. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
So take the RV, bring the family. No, that's the sucky thing is, like, if I could have sent my family to me, if like, okay, something broke at the knock and you're going to be there a week waiting for parts and something, you could see doing that. I could have flown my family in, but that was the hardest thing, I think, of this, because it turned out, and I'm not, again, knock on press board and not saying anything about COVID, but to me, I've had worse cold flus, whatever you want to call them, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't really worried about that. But in the very beginning, you've heard so much about this that, yeah, you don't know, am I going to be having trouble breathing and not be able to get to my phone? And I don't have one of those cool Apple Watches that can call anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
crazy. The good news was my coworkers were all like fighting over themselves to come help me out, which was nice. So, I had
That
a
is
lot of
awesome.
them. I almost got like a free suitcase because I was like, I'm gonna need a suitcase to carry back all the meds. That was the other thing, is I literally, I don't know if I put the picture. I gotta put the picture up because it's so funny. This was, and again, all of these things actually did help, but that was my to go back meds. That's the extra meds that I had. So
Yeah.
like,
There you go. Start a
yeah,
pharmacy.
yeah, basically, I got
Get stopped by the TSA. This guy's trying to cook meth on an airplane.
And
Like,
start
we're gonna
checking
have
each
to do
bottle.
something about this. Yeah, exactly.
I wonder how much, yeah, NyQuil you can actually take on. But that was the funny thing. So I get on the plane to come back, and they sit me down next to some person, and I won't say anything about them, but they
Yeah.
coughed the entire trip at me. Like,
Oh, lovely.
oh gosh, I don't want to get strain B2 or whatever the new one is now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you got to be kidding me. But we've spent a lot of time on this. I'm just checking. Oh, Andrew says maybe a copy of Hiron's Boot CD. I guess if I was like having to really clean out stuff. And then yeah, so that's what he was just saying. He was like, Hiron's Boot CD, that is a good CD. I'm
Yeah.
partial, and they're a sponsor back there, but Red Key, I love their stuff for wiping machines. Zach saying here, IPsec tunnel configured beforehand. Now that would have been good if I
Yeah.
was searching stuff. I shouldn't have been. I didn't do that, I promise. Yeah, exactly. Something to hold like 6 flash drives and some micro SDs. That's actually really cute. I debated on bringing, and now, Joe, I'm not sending this to you, man, no matter how much you beg.
Nah,
The
we have it.
It is the GH5. This is like almost $2,000 when I bought it.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I'll make content when I'm down there. Should I bring this? I did not bring the camera, and I was like, yeah, I made something on my phone, and the phones have gotten so good that it didn't matter really.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I'm just looking real quick. Never trust hotel internet. Zach says he's ready for it. But I am looking at our agenda here, and there is the next topic up is for Dan talking about this Intel 12th gen. And I just got my 12th gen right there. I'm so excited about this thing.
Yeah, which one did you get? You get the i5, right?
That is the
Nice.
12400. And when I got we'll talk about the benchmarks, but that's B&H Photo 179 for
Nice.
Yeah,
that thing.
yeah, very
It's
awesome.
ridiculous. Dan, I will let you take it away about the Intel 12th gens, all that news.
Sure, yeah, definitely. I guess I'll throw up. I'm gonna put up a just the at least the i3 for now. Here, got a little screen share going. But I think being the budget, I mean, I guess we're all into it, right? I think that's where we've kind of struck common ground too, is budget builds and getting the most for your dollar. And um, yeah, man, just the 1200 series. There's to me there's a few things to be really excited about with the 12th gen. Is well, obviously now they're king of gaming and most production workloads. I think there's only some areas where, say, the 5950X can overtake, the i9 Alder Lake, but for the most part, the Alder Lake is definitely a performance beast. And so, yeah, I mean, if the sky is the limit and money is of no obstacle, and you want to build the biggest, baddest machine ever possible, there you go. Start with Intel. Now, the only thing I hold reservations about, I don't know if I've heard really any of the tech channels talk about it a little bit. If they have, it might have been someone like Gamers Nexus. And as much as I love Gamers Nexus, I can't always sit through 30+ minute video every single time.
Yeah.
Is the longevity? What I'm curious is the longevity of this platform. It is DDR5 capable. So maybe that sends some signals to the idea that maybe they will take a little slice out of Ryzen's book finally and hold the socket longer than one generation. That's what I'm hopeful for, especially seeing that the DDR5 capability is there. So it's something to grow into because you can still use DDR4 if, obviously if you want the most max performance, sure, go for that. But that's what I'm really holding out to see. And that's honestly too why I've over the last few years, I used to be honestly, I call myself a little bit of an Intel fanboy prior to kind of really delving into the tech YouTube stuff. But yeah, because they were always the best platform, but they always suffered that fate of if you want the next thing, you got to upgrade your basically everything. So I'm still holding out, waiting for that. But yeah, I mean, there's two big wins here, right? You got the 1200 series or the 12100. I still get screwed
You
up
want to
saying.
you want to control plus that for us because it's totally microprint over here. I got
Oh yeah. Sorry, guys.
40-year-old eyes. I don't know.
Yeah. So yes,
There we go.
talking about the 12100. I mean, it's which is interesting. It's still 4 core, but it is 4 P cores and 4 E cores, or basically you get your P and E cores. Basically, what's driving the performance in terms of lower like gaming performance, what you'd expect to get out of your P cores, and then your E cores. Obviously, I haven't really done a ton of research in terms of where the E cores really come into play, other than helping provide a bit more thread count for things that require a high thread workload, something like production related items. But yeah, then you're like, well, the i3 is not really a CPU targeted for that. If you look at um, some of the data from, say, hardware, I'd say probably the best content that I've seen so far covered on just the Alder Lake platform in general is definitely Hardware Unboxed and Gamers Nexus.
Yep.
And so if you guys really want to dig into it, like I said, you can cover a 30-40 minute video on each platform, each series of the platform. But what they've kind of come to the generalization is that, if you want a gaming PC and you want some fast performance that rivals some of Ryzen's mid tier to upper mid tier and some of the previous Intel generations of later, like the 10 series and 11 series, I think I saw some data where the i3 was hitting the mark on some of the i7 12 series, or sorry, 10 series chips, and was
Yeah.
beating up on the 5600 here and there and the 3600, and was dominating basically every 3000 series processor. Even the 3900, a 12 core 24 threaded processor, was knocking on the door of some of the performance numbers there. So it's
And that was the funny thing is I ran like Shadow of the Tomb Raider benchmarks on this setup here on the lab back to back, and it didn't matter what chip I threw at it, right? Because it's all GPU bound anyway. And
yeah,
this chip, I'm just looking at the recommended customer price, which by the way, vendors are not going with. They're
Yeah.
like, nah, yeah, we'll add another 50% on that. But still, that's $100 CPU.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think the 12100F I actually saw on Best Buy's website for $109. Of course, it was sold out, but um,
Yep.
yeah, that's where I saw it. And for $109, it's an incredible value. But going back to kind of what Dan was saying about the platform, they I guess over the last several years, what 10th and 11th gen have been same socket, and we can argue, the 11th gen probably didn't need to be there,
Yeah.
as I think Gamers Nexus called it, a waste of sand. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, so it'll be interesting. But I guess that's kind of, I guess, where I see the downfall maybe of 12th gen is I think it's great, but DDR5 is really expensive, really hard to find right now. And so if you're going to get that DDR4 board, even if you go to the next gen's probably going to be DDR5 only. And if you do that, you still have to replace the motherboard. And oh, by the
yeah.
way, have you seen the pricing on Intel's
Ooh.
motherboards lately?
Yeah, that's the only thing that's a tough pill to swallow right now is like the numbers. If you're just talking raw numbers of the i3, the i5,
Mhm.
I mean, even the whole lineup is
Right.
impressive. It's
Yeah.
really doing well in terms of performance. But I wonder if it's just because Intel hasn't been a, competitor over the last several years, and a lot
Right.
of people are not there. And so it's interesting, and I think it's one of those things that I think is going to, over a year or two, is going to really progress into something pretty nice, so long as we're not still caught up in the silicon shortages that we're in right now. But it's really interesting to see where I'm really, really interested in this processor. The lower
Yeah.
tier lineup honestly gets me more excited about it, just because it's another option now for. I want to go back to Intel, but sometimes it's like, well, a good route maybe still is the 10 series lineup. Like you said, the 11 series was a waste of sand.
Hmm.
12 series is like, hey, by the way, we can still make this stuff, but now it's like it's still hard to get a hold of, and tough in price. So keep an eye out for it. I'd say is definitely the area to be watching this, because yeah, these chips blow away some mid tier chips from just like a year or two ago from
Right.
Ryzen, and obviously Intel's blowing themselves away in terms of that point. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty
three
cool.
That's
years ago, did anyone think that an i3 chip from Intel would compete with the 5600X?
That's
I
insane.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. So you get those motherboards like the B660 motherboards to come down in price, like after they've been out a little while and they're actually available. We'll see what happens there, but it's going to be interesting because even now the B550 boards aren't exactly cheap anymore. So,
well, and that's what
Yeah.
and of course
Radal was
Ryzen's
saying.
raising theirs. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
he just said that here. He says first time in a long time that Intel's getting budget recommendations over AMD. But that was the thing, Dan. Your channel, everybody's saying I want a $450 gaming machine. If you're spending 200 of that on your chip, there's no
Yeah.
way, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's a good point. It's like that was kind of blown away by that. Let's see, I can go to it real quick. How many? I've got 167 votes on this now. Um, oh, I guess I can't see the results because I'm in incognito, but a large percentage is wanting to see something under $400.
Ah,
And
click it. Come on, nobody's gonna know.
can I say? Oh, it makes me
No,
say
no, you can't even trick it. No
yeah,
worries,
but
no worries.
the percentages, I can check my phone, but it's high. So I'm like, okay, that's still like people want to spend console amounts of money on a PC, especially if it's upgradable over time. And I
Yeah.
think that's all definitely what the 12th gen series has to offer. What I'm a little worried about though is the upgrade over time. Is that just going to mean within the same generation? Or does that mean that you can go like you've been able to do with Ryzen? I've got a budget build I just put together right behind me. Yeah, it's got a first gen
Right.
Ryzen in it right now, but if I want to, I could throw a fifth gen or the 5000 series processor
Yeah.
in there,
Right.
and it all works. So that's what I'd really like to see out of Intel in terms of, yeah, this is great. They got a good start, they got a good foundation, but what are they? Is it going to be,
Will it be same old Intel at the
LGA
end? Yeah.
1890 next year or whatever? So it would the platform should be able to stay the same
Yeah.
for a while.
Well, and Ryzen, of course, is changing now to AM5 with their next release at the end of this year. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think it'll be a one and done platform AM5, but it will be interesting to see if we get as much out of it as we did AM4.
I
Yeah,
think
I kind of thought about that too. It that man, they stretched it huge.
Yeah.
Extremely impressive, honestly, and the
Yeah.
way that they were able to stretch that. So I guess it remains to be seen. And if they can, that would be. I mean, they got to be looking at it in terms of market value
Right.
by being able to do that. Though I don't think I think when they even announced Ryzen when it came out, that was something to try to sweep out some market share from Intel. Was, hey, we're going to release a platform and it's going to last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that's true.
I haven't heard that yet from them, so we'll see.
well, and they got like 92 SKUs. If you look up all the 12 gen SKUs, it's like
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
graphics, no
extremely.
graphics,
Oh
locked,
yeah,
all that.
We
The
got an
hardest
F,
thing
we
I
got a
honestly
K, we
had,
got a KF, we got everything. So
KFC,
yeah.
yes.
the hardest thing
Yeah.
I had was getting a cooler. Like this is the ID cooling one that did say it has LGA 1700 support. And so I
Mhm.
bought 2 of these just to have something, but all of my benchmarks are with that thing, that little squirrel cage.
Oh my god, it looks
Right.
terrible.
It looks terrible, but oh yeah, so here it is. It's over here. I'll
Oh
bring it
yeah,
right
show it
in.
off. See what
Yeah. So
I haven't seen one in real life yet.
this
IRL.
is
Bring
IRL.
it up
This
on the
is
big screen,
All
IRL.
John.
right, let me see that IRL
Yeah,
action.
okay. I'm gonna make that full
Yep.
screen. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
Yep.
knock me off. There you go.
There it
There we
is.
go.
And it works. Like my benchmarking, I did a Cinebench. This is the 400, the 12400F. I did the Cinebench, and it came out just under 12,000
Wow.
with the stock cooler. And I'm like, the thing is, they were talking about thermals on the 12400.
Yeah.
So it's 65 watts, I think, is the base, but it was like turbo power 125 or something. That's the other thing is Intel could never keep up on the thermals. They were always like putting way more heat into them to get them to run faster. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, what they were saying on Hardware Unboxed, it was 58 watts the whole time on that chip. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's really solid for the amount of performance and the just the efficiency is huge. It's crazy. Yeah, and I guess this does look a little bit cooler than the old one, maybe because it's new, but it's like it's still the push tab blocking mechanism, and I don't know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Intel could have
Skull's
done something a little better, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
Skull's letting us know here. He just picked up the random EK 240 AIO off Newegg for $80. That's a good deal, actually,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for a
especially from
240.
EK. Yeah.
Yep. And then it has the bracket for free. So, I think a lot of the cooler manufacturers right now are like, okay, we got to do something here. And I didn't even look to really see the spacing and what it was. But yeah, I use the push ones because I wanted to give it like straight out of the box performance numbers and find out.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah.
this ID cooling one, not saying anything, but it looks pretty cool. It's RGB. It
Heck
it
yeah.
it reminds me of the Vetro, whatever we want to call them today.
Oh yeah.
Um,
There's so many of
I
those box style. It all came off of the Cooler Master Hyper 212 design, and then from there, it's just like so many companies have kind of just changed it a little bit here and there to call it their own. I mean, the design works. So
yeah
Yeah. I've
we
got
yeah
to
all
email
the
out
three
the
of us
feature
know.
now to see if they're going to give us the socket 1700 brackets too. So a lot of
Yeah,
companies are, but you never know. So
it's
yeah,
hard. You're making $19 cooler. It costs you what, another $6-7 to ship something to somebody, right? You've
yeah.
lost
hmm
your profit and then some. But yeah, I think that if there was a universal bracket or something you could buy 10 of them. Well, that's if you're an integrator or budget builder a lot. That's
Right.
hard.
yeah,
Yep.
definitely. Yeah, I mean, and that's pretty much where my excitement level is, guys. It's I am excited to see Intel being competitive. Obviously, I think we all are if we're all enthusiasts in the market, and we know Intel's got the snuff to do it. They were just dragging their feet, and I don't know what they thought they were doing over the last 4 to 5 years. But seeing them being competitive, I guess, is one step in the right direction. Now, they got to appeal to people who can, want to get things at a good price, which obviously this i3 is massive for price to performance. But,
Yeah.
Joe brings up a really good point that, is the rest of the system going to be a good price to performance? So
Right.
I think it may be a little bit of a hype thing, or availability, just like with any kind of new launch. So maybe it settles down a bit and we can actually get something out of it in terms of something to build with as a budget build. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to break the $400 mark going this route. I'm gonna have to take to the used markets again, boys. So
It's an interesting idea. I have a B660M motherboard here on the bench, and if you guys want to watch more tomorrow, I'm going live same time on my channel to do an Amazon live, but you'll get to see this 12400 in more detail. But what Andrew's saying there is the 12900 will hit 26 to 27,000 in Cinebench. That's
Wow.
insane.
yeah, that beats up that's about what my 5950X will do, a little bit less than that actually. So that beats out the 5950X with less core count. So there you go.
And Zach is here foreshadowing. He says, "This card looks very familiar, really familiar. I may or may not have just bought that from him, but he got paid." Just saying. Yeah, so I'm excited.
I love that card.
The other cool thing that they're doing is they're knocking Ryzen off the pedestal a little bit, right? They were the budget leader, they were the core count leader. Now these chips with 4 cores, 8 threads, it reminds me a lot, if rumors are true of this i3, of the Q6600. That was like the watershed chip, the multi-core or whatever that Intel had, that everybody loved. It was the price to performance leader, right? And if this i3 can desktop and game, somebody actually wrote in the chat here, they said, 6 cores is the sweet spot for gaming. But if you've got a fast 4-core, a lot of them will do it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 cores, yeah, I think it's just become more mainstream is really, and it's become more mainstream because it's become very affordable. And yeah, I mean, I think back to when I first built my rig that to basically run this channel. It was an i7 8700K, and I spent $400 on that thing. And it was like the next best thing was the i9, and that was a 6-core 12-threaded processor. And I thought it was a beast back then. But yeah, I totally agree that a 4-thread, like I get comments and questions in my channel all the time asking, hey, well, I got a even these 4th gen, 5th gen i7s are still decent if you can get a good value and you're just trying to build a budget build. Heck yes, of course, most 6 cores,
Yeah.
more modern 6 cores will beat them up. But if you're after gaming and those generation 4th through, like, say 7th and 8th plus, well, 4 to 7 roughly, if you're looking in
Yep.
Intel SKU, they turbo up pretty darn fast, and there's a reason I think why they stuck with them for so long. They just worked, and then they got hit low by Ryzen when Ryzen came out of nowhere and smacked them around. So
Yeah. I mean, everyone wants a 32 core, 64 thread processor, but you're going to pay through the nose for it. And yeah, these 4-core 8-thread processors, especially the recent ones, they can game. I mean, absolutely. And since right
yeah,
now Ryzen doesn't have anything, we say there's a 3100, but how many of us have actually seen one of those? Or even more elusive, the 3300X.
I did get my hands on a
Basically dead.
3100 once. It was a great
Yeah,
little 4-core. It was a great gamer, but
it was
yeah, that was
great.
only one time. But
Yeah, exactly. It's just trying to get one, and now looking at those on, even on eBay still, they what $150 for what was supposed to be $100 part. So
that will
yeah,
be it. That's actually a good point, Joe. It'd be interesting to see if Ryzen responds to that with their current generation, and if we'll see the
yeah,
market fall off, the bottom fall out there.
yeah.
This
With
I've
that
seen
this
a
is
Patreon.
my
couple of. Go ahead,
I was gonna
John.
say, this is my testing rig. It is gonna go in a future build, and this build is gonna be redonkulous.
Beast
But I'm
Z690.
The thing is, it's got PCI 5, but I've got nothing to plug into it. PCI Express 5, it's got this feature that nothing plugs into, nothing can use. I don't know. What do you think? Is there
John
anything
trying
out
to
there?
one up the insane $12,000 PC Tech Hustle build. So
My
It's
wife
a
doesn't know how
production
much.
build.
yes,
My wife
it's
doesn't
for
know, but
work.
I did just buy the 12700, which is kind of that, like if the 12900 is the insane, which Zach has,
Mhm.
then the 12400 is what everybody has. I got the 12700, which I think is just slightly insane. So I want to try that out. But that was a 379 chip. I was going against the 5800X, which I think it's going to beat.
Yeah, it probably will for sure.
Yeah.
If there isn't already numbers out there about it.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the other hard part, is I was looking for a 12100 because I wanted to have one of those and one of the lower ends to just kind of play around with. That was the other thing about doing these kind of shows, is I wanted to actually be able to show you the hardware sitting here. That's why we actually have it benched here running. Actually, I can switch over to it maybe. Well, no, it doesn't like that. So, but yeah, I can switch over to that machine that's actually running. That video card looks kind of flaky, Zach. Just saying. Did you notice that flickering? But no, we should be good.
Yeah.
But speaking of video cards, there's a whole bunch of hubbub about this thing.
The absolute perfect graphics card, best
They
ever
come
made, that nobody has an issue with. Is that the one that you're talking
They
about?
come with a
The funny
Kleenex
thing
to wipe
is,
your tears.
this is
Yeah.
the one I could actually order at retail ish. I paid $229.
Okay, there's a factor.
Yeah.
A card you can actually get. It's like when you were dating in high school. And no, I'm kidding. This is the one you can actually get.
I don't know where you're going with this, but I don't have to worry about my channel being demonetized. So go ahead.
That was the hardest part. It's like, finding a GPU. And I put the stack out here. It's just all the bling. It's like that fake, I need one of those diamond meter things that they've got like on TikTok, and just
right.
like, no, this is really a GPU. This is really a GPU.
That's great.
I actually have, this is my favorite, and this is something just an aside, Dan. This is the 1650 low profile.
Yeah, those are sweet.
It fits in the Dell 9020 and the HP 800 G2.
Yeah,
And
that's perfect for like an office upgrade.
no power connector. It literally just drops in,
PCIe
and
power.
you get 60 frames per second. And I bought that thing for like $200, but you can't buy another GPU. They're not out there.
Man, I wonder what some of those cost now. How long ago did you say you bought that?
A year and a half, maybe.
Oh, I bet that thing is worth
1650 low
30-40% more now if you can find
and
one.
1050 Ti low profile is probably running about $300.
Yeah, $300 to $400. Yeah,
and this is
the
DDR6 in this thing. That's craziness.
Pretty solid. Pretty solid.
I mean, they were great for office flips, but yeah. So I mean, the 6500 XT. I mean, pretty much everyone hated the card from the get go, and I mean, not from. There's a lot of reasons to hate it, I mean, the PCI interface, and I think Andrew had just put into the chat that he's cranky about the PCIe interface, and I don't really blame him. I don't understand the decision to limit it that much, but I mean, it came out and it's been MSRP, and like you said, John, I mean, those cards are still going for right around MSRP plus the add-in board partner price, because I think a lot of people got mad when they saw them at $259. I'm like, well, I mean, the board partner cards are always more expensive. So, but yeah, I mean, for what it is, $199, knowing the limitations, so knowing that it is severely kneecapped, there's no hardware encoding support on it. It's X4. It runs even slower on PCIe Gen 3, which I think a lot of people were getting upset about, because this is a budget card, and most of those people are probably 10th gen Intel or like an older Ryzen CPU, and those are all going to be PCIe Gen 3. So I got all the hate, and I don't necessarily disagree with it. And of course, the big the big to do out on Twitter on all that stuff, and I won't rehash all of it, but yeah, I mean, things
got weird, right?
Contentious, weird, yeah, all of that. So, but yeah,
I got my popcorn.
Yeah, exactly. It's just me in the comment section. But I mean, I think there's a little bit of all of it. It is, if you have the budget and you can get something else, I absolutely would recommend it. If this is the only option you have at $199 because you're not going to buy used, and there are those people that are out there that are cash constrained but don't want to buy used, or if you're in the Discord servers I am, there's a lot of younger kids in there and their parents won't buy used because they're worried about getting ripped off because they don't know anything about it. So will it do 1080p gaming? Yes. Will it do anything else? No. So
It's all missing the trace. There's nothing
all the
connected
traces
on.
are gone. Yeah,
What's
exactly.
going on there?
Only right here. Oh, not so. It's like Tommy Boy. Not so much here, just right here.
Yeah, exactly. So,
This
but
is the other
yeah,
thing that annoys me, though.
good.
Oh,
Yeah, only
the
two
lack of
outputs.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel
Yep.
like it was just, yeah,
Just
I
weird
don't,
decisions, right?
don't
I
know.
mean,
That would cost 12 cents to put another out on it, wouldn't it?
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it couldn't have cost much to run, even if they went by 8 instead of by 16, or
Yeah.
instead of by 4, so that you can at least get some more bandwidth out of it. The question becomes is, i- if they do that, does that now make it good enough to mine on?
So why did it
And
need power if
is it
this
still
thing's about
available?
the same performance? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Oh man, he's ripping it.
yeah.
You could have dropped
But
the power connector at least, right? 10,
well,
50.
and that's the thing, is like, you still need that much power to make it run at what performance it can get. So yeah, I mean, it's just not. I don't know. Just the decisions made on the card were weird. Obviously, it's not going to be used for mining. It's not really going to be used for anything other than 1080p gaming, on the budget end of things. So I mean, it's, I guess, nice. I guess maybe, for that, and that miners aren't going to want it. But as you can see, all the, you want to throw up my screen real quick, John?
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Coming up.
But as you can see, and using Newegg, even though Gamers Nexus, but all the $199 versions are gone.
Gone. Yep.
This, to me, absolutely
What?
ridiculous.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
insane.
then this right here, like, somebody please tell me why we
Why would
have a 3-fan
triple
design for
My
6500 XT.
God,
There's
that's
no need for it.
insane.
Like,
All
these
those cards
AIB
should be like a
partners, I
single
think,
fan.
made it worse. Yeah,
Oh yeah, they
I
did.
mean,
Oh boy, that just kind
a
of makes
dual
me mad.
fan to make it look nice, so like, I can get that. But yeah, probably one fan's all you need. But three a 3-fan design, like, really? Like, yeah. So,
Wow.
but here's the thing, like, and please keep in mind, I'm not trying to apologize for AMD. I wouldn't recommend this card unless you are 1080p gaming,
Me.
only gaming, and only want to buy new. Like, there's much better value out on the use. But that being said, if you notice over here, what's missing from the list?
50. 30,
Mm,
50.
There's not a 3050.
yeah.
Jeez.
Oh,
But
what's
the
up with that?
3050 is 8 gigs of RAM, and I got a filter on here for in stock. That's why
Mm.
Oh,
3050s are gone, and it is a better card. It's 8 gigs of VRAM, and I
Oh,
mean,
it's
the
massively
clocks on
better.
it are a lot better. It basically has all the stuff that they took out of the 6500 XT, and that's why those things are sold out. And like every other card here, AMD's still sitting on the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah, the tech outlets definitely got a hold of that one and help people save money by meaning don't go out and spend your money on this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm forced to agree. I can agree to an extent if its value was purchasable, like maybe $150 at the max. Even then, me being a budget builder and a guy who buys stuff secondhand
Yeah.
a lot, I would say, dude, go get like a 4 gig RX
An
570,
RX 570. Yeah.
580, a GTX
Yep.
1060, a 970, and it's gonna blow it away. But I get it, and you made a good point earlier. Some people are afraid to test the waters on the used market, and that's very. I mean, especially in a time now where
Yeah.
video cards, the ones that are out on the market that are older, they might have been used for mining. I've got a pile of
Yep.
them sitting
Right.
right next to me. They were used for
Yep.
mining, but
Hmm.
that doesn't necessarily mean that the card is just, it's not like took the card and ran it at, that I can't remember exactly what because I do subscribe to some
Yeah.
mining channels to kind of get their perspective of
Hmm.
the world in the mining world. And there's a good arguable point that mining is not actually as hard as people think it is on their GPUs, because a lot of the times what miners will do is they're going to get the most efficient power usage out of that card possible, because
Yeah.
because it just affects their ROI, their bottom line.
Hmm.
So if they don't want a full throttled card, they want it running max compute possible, but they also want it running as cool as possible and drawing the least amount of
Right.
power as possible. So I've bought mining cards a lot, like all the
Yeah.
time, especially in like 2018, 2019, when the crypto market is hopefully showing signs of what it's doing now. I'm not so sure yet, but
Right.
where it all crashed out and all these GPUs flooded the markets, and I was buying cards that I'm buying for near $200 now for 70, $80, so
Yep.
keep your
And
eyes
here's
out.
the
It could
yeah,
happen.
and here's the thing is before I would buy a brand new 6500 XT, I would buy a RX 570 4 gig. And just about a month ago when I was doing research for another video, those things were still selling for about $225. And
Yeah.
now these are the sold listings currently on eBay. As you can tell, they're closer to 150 to $200 now. So they're coming down in price, which is awesome because there's value out there again.
Hmm.
And I mean, where this ends up, especially if crypto continues going down, which it's kind of been up and down over the last week or so, um, you could see more of these start hitting the market. You could see more 3060s, 3060 wasn't a good mining card, but 3070s, 3080s as people, as they become less profitable, then they start hitting the market. And, we'll see what's there as far as availability and stock, but um, that's it. But,
Yeah.
going back to the 3050, I can't even find any on eBay. I mean,
Yeah. Where were
they're
these
gonna be
cards?
great for mining.
Yeah. They're going to be they're going to be fantastic for mining. So there's probably pallets and pallets of them being delivered to some mining farm. We'll
Or a
see
Fast
some.
and Furious knockoff from EVGA or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We'll hear about some kind of crazy story. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
It's funny. I'm downloading the driver. It didn't have the driver apparently. So
Yeah.
I was going to show you this. I've got Shadow of the Tomb Raider up. My 580s do 70, 71 frames a second, and I'm like totally
Hmm.
ready to see what this thing does.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Would you run it on high or medium or low or?
Just whatever the default settings were. Yeah,
Oh,
I'll bring
gotcha.
those up.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
having to put the Radeon drivers in, which is weird because I had an RX 580 in here, and I thought that the drivers were going to be the same, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd be interesting
Radeon.
to see for sure.
Radeon's coming in with the 3050 is awesome. If I could get my
Yeah.
hands on a 3050 at 249, it looks like an awesome card.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I wonder if EVGA actually still had, as of 2 days ago, they actually still had the queue open for the 3050 XC. And so I've been signed up since the 3050 launch, but it'll be curious to see, how long it actually takes to get a call to make a purchase on it. So
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
especially if it's actually what was it, 279, I think it was, or something like that. So, which is crazy because my 3060 was, what, 329? And I'm guessing the performance is going to be pretty close. I know it's 4 gigs of VRAM less, but to be honest with you, I don't think you'll ever max out 12 gigs of VRAM on a 3060. So I think it was more of a number being there, but
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely. And there's
Unless you're mining,
the
right?
driver I'm putting in. Sorry, guys.
that's all right.
We'll let that thing install here. So, Dan, what do you got coming up on your channel?
Well, right now I am working on getting a summary slash follow up of the build that I did a stream and parts on. Basically, kind of be the conclusion So to cover just a basic overview of the build in itself, and if people, I'm hoping it'd be a way to circle people into the other videos about that build, and also it's going to be the benchmarks for that build. So I did the live stream. Um, had a little snafu at my start, actually. Still getting used to live stream. I think
Yep.
I told you about that, where I started the build, and one of my guys that tunes into, I think he's on my channel right now, commenting, and he's like, "Man, I'm hoping this is gonna start." And I'm like, "Oh no!" And I had the CPU installed, I had the cooler installed, I had the RAM installed, and I had the M.2 NVMe drive. I had the motherboard basically prepped to go into the case, and nobody was watching me. I'm just talking away, and
With you,
because I
that's at
think,
least 2 hours in, right?
oh my god, come on, that was like a solid 10, 15 minutes. Uh, yeah, so luckily man, I'm glad he mentioned something, because then because people were just chatting away, and then all of a sudden I saw my stream really go like explode with activity, and like, holy crap, I can't believe I did that. But I guess you learn, because what I thought it was, I could have sworn I did this before, and maybe it was just because I wasn't paying attention to what settings I was clicking. But when I would hit go live on my OBS, it would
Hmm.
immediately kick off the stream on YouTube. And I think it's what I didn't have checked was the auto start on
Auto
YouTube.
start. Yep.
So it was getting a feed and doing nothing with it. So I was like, all
Yep.
right, guys, we're
Professional.
gonna rebuild the last 5 steps I just did.
Let me take this thing apart to put it back together for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to move your camera a little bit to your left because we have to see that machine that you built. That was I'm gonna call it the 5 hour stream.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, if I didn't have a little bit of a snafu on
Oh, man.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
I
She's a
mean,
beaut, Clark.
yeah, I love those fans. The Lian Lee AL 120. The only thing I don't like about him is the length of the cable that it comes with a big tower like this.
Mm.
It is so hard so like I was trying to plug in these bottom fans into the controller, which is about midway up on the backside of the case, and where the fan cables kick out is on one side. So I'm like
Mm.
doing this to get, yeah. So that's my only gripe with them. But other than that, they look pretty sweet, and they're really easy to work with, being the way that they interconnect. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've been saving up and putting parts on my shelf for a long time. My brother would always come over. He's big into PCs too and gaming and stuff. And he's like, "Dude, you ever gonna build this damn rig?" I'm like, "Yeah, I swear I'm gonna
Someday.
do it." He's like, "Man, some of the stuff's dusty." I'm like, "Yeah,
Just
I know."
7 more payments and this baby's mine.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm
That's
I'm
how it
trying to
went.
figure out if that was your ATX power, but it's going into a graphics card. That is so wide.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
because
my!
the 3080 Ti is a triple 8 pin.
That
Yeah,
is your mother. That's a 20. That's the same as
I got
24,
two
right?
two 24 pins. Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, because I had actually I still have it sitting here. That for my old card was a GTX 1080. Um, and I had one of the streamer cables. These are cool, but they are kind of hard to work with. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, but this was just a dual 8 pin, so I couldn't resist. When I got that card, I put it in my system anyway and didn't really do any content on it. So I had this connected, and then I had one janky additional 8 pin just running to it. So it was a little jankified. So now it's all nice and clean. But
That turned out so good though. I remember when you put the
Yeah.
RGB on because in the stream it didn't have the RGB, and then you did the
yeah, I was
RGB
fighting that.
on your
Yeah,
Instagram, and I was just like, whoa.
yeah, it was all,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, all right, we're approaching 4 hours, and I don't want to troubleshoot RGB. I'm tired, so we'll call it here, guys, and I'll do
Yeah.
a follow up short video. So
So speaking of the stack of GPUs you have standing,
Yeah.
can you tell us about those?
sure. So yeah, so I got a buddy of mine. Oh, yeah, let me see if I can grab that real quick. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do content on this, just time permitting. But I got a buddy of mine. I built those two $600 PCs for back in December. He sent me over an HP Omen. So this is basically a glorified Optiplex. Well, it's
Yep.
HP, but it's cool. But it's got a little low power GT
Little
1650
baby.
right there, and one stick of RAM, like all OEMs love to do.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Single channel
"Yeah,
for the win.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, man, that needs a few things. And so I started hunting down cards in my local market because that's what I do. And found some guy selling, just had one of these listed. GTX 60. It's like been my go-to card all of a sudden.
Yeah.
1650, another 3 gig card. So obviously a 6 gig card would be amazing, but you're not going to find them for under $300-400 at this point.
Right.
And so I was like, hey man, yeah, I think he had it up for like 850 or 180. And man, if you had it up for 850, I just bust his balls and be like, what are you doing? But yeah, you had it up for like 180 and I hit him at 160. He's like, yeah, sure. You want to pick it up tomorrow? I'm like, all right. He said, by the way, I got like 3 more of these things. I'm like,
Do
I'll
what?
buy them. I was like, how about 150 for all 4 of them?
God.
I mean, 150 a piece. And so picked them all up today. I don't know if they work yet. So hopefully.
Uh-oh, I got to bring this up in the background here.
Yeah.
Do you see the number in the upper left?
Yeah.
72 for is that's on the
This is off the 6500 PCIe.
Okay. What
4,
settings
And
you
that's
on?
the thing.
whatever it came out of the box.
Okay, just did the auto detect.
Yep.
Oh, stutter.
Oh, see, the 1%'s gonna kill it.
Oh yeah, and I think that's who covered that recently. I think it was one of the bigger outlets.
Probably
was saying-
Hardware Unboxed. I mean,
I think they
they've
were
been-
talking about that where it's like, oh yeah, sure, it can hit the average numbers, okay, but where you got to be looking is the 1%.
It might be the
0.1% of
encoder.
this.
It might be the black magic. I've got it going through on the encoder. Yeah, I can't switch. Well, I guess I can here. Watch this. I'll do something really creepy. I can switch it that way. No, I took it off that screen, so no, you can't. Sorry, guys. I was gonna say I had it through the black magic. It's going right now into an XR1 light, but I'm seeing it on the main monitor, and it is smoother. So the jitter is actually just the encoder.
Gotcha. Yeah. I've had that too with Shadow of the Tomb Raider, especially trying to record gameplay, where I have to go into OBS and change a bunch of settings to actually get it to record smooth because they got, good numbers on the build and everything, but then, the video looks like it's jumping all around. So.
If this is 115, 120-ish on the outdoor here scene, I think that's coming up next, right?
Yeah.
119, 115.
Yeah.
This could be high. This could be up there. This could be right at the 580 level, at least for this game, right? Oh, you can definitely, yeah, it's the encoder because the screen is looking gorgeous here on the other screen.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm seeing it drop, like it's getting grainy and stuff.
Yeah.
That's all just encoder lag.
And I think that's kind of the point is the 6500, it can do 1080p gaming, but that's it because there's no hardware encoding support. There's nothing else on it. So, but also the flip side of that argument is an RX 580 that was released, 2017-ish, somewhere in there, can run just as fast as this.
Yeah, it was released for that. Technology. Yeah, and was released for that price, MSRP.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got to give a shout out to T-Dolts. He showed up here. He was saying it should be early 2023 when we get GPUs again.
Yeah, I think he might have been referencing the wait list for the 3050, which is probably accurate. So
well, and we probably should talk about where so I bought this one off of Newegg. It wasn't even available on Amazon, and when I do Amazon Lives, I can only really show products that you can get, so it's not even worth me showing on Amazon Live. But Jawa, that was the other thing I wanted to cover. This is the 584 gig that I got off Jawa.
And I need to check into Jawa a little more, just as another means of trying to get some hardware.
That just beat a 580, man.
Yep.
This just look
pretty
at those
awesome.
numbers. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and that's the thing is they were saying, so it's you're getting 580 performance, kind of. You're getting a warranty on this thing, right?
Right.
76, 126, and 61. Remember those numbers.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Screenshot. Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
screenshot that.
The only reason is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up because I actually did the same exact CPU.
I just screenshot
and
it,
I did a 580, and I'm just gonna pull that up and I'm gonna show you the numbers exactly. So give me one second.
Yeah, wait, let your full. Yeah, just double checking your settings just so you're on 1080, full screened. Yeah, and it's just I guess it's just taking. Okay, no anti-aliasing. Really, I mean, okay. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and I can't pull them side by side. So just remember
Yeah.
these numbers: 61, 126, 76, and 64. So the numbers I'm seeing over here, and I'm going to pull this up in my PC. I need to remove this, remove source. Sorry, guys. 1 second, doing a little housekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
Add share screen, window, VLC, share. So now this is the 580 on the same amount of RAM. And so the other one was 76 and this is 71. So it is faster. The other one was 61 and this is 57. So it's 8% faster, at least in this game, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, you want to hit it with the whole gambit of things.
And
You
yeah,
mean you
that's the
didn't
hard
test
part.
this against 20 games? I mean,
I did not have a chance to test it
Spends a
against 20
weekend
games,
testing
but
it.
But those channels that did, they found, +1 here, -1 there. And like you said, if you're looking for a kid whose parents are paying for his first gaming machine and they're not going to buy a used card off some site, that's true. But
yeah.
I am getting that same performance realm. I paid 230 for that card, paid
Mhm.
250 for the other card. So, I'm right in that spot without the warranty,
Right.
right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think Steve from Hardware Unbox was pretty fair with it. He's like, if that's your only option, it will do it will game, but it's only because get it at 199. But some of these cards going for $300 and $400, like it's ridiculous. You shouldn't be paying that much for it.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. Well, that's a scary thing too. As someone who is a first-time builder that doesn't really do a lot of research and
Hmm.
maybe they haven't done it in a while, but they kind of know what they're doing, so they don't really take to YouTube or they don't take to the outlets
Yeah,
and really get informed. And they just say, "Hey, that's a video card. It's 4 gigs of RAM. It's brand new. It's one on the
yeah,
latest generation, and it's 250. Okay, I'll bite the
yeah,
bullet and buy it." And then they realize that they bought basically
yeah.
a card of same performance from 4 to 5 years ago.
Oh, and
I
not only
mean,
that, it doesn't have any hardware encoding, so they go to record their gameplay
yeah,
after they
even
build
less.
everything,
Yeah.
and then they can't even record their gameplay and send that across. So yeah,
Yeah, and streaming's a big thing. So, I mean,
yep.
people wanna put that stuff out there and, yeah, it's gonna be really difficult
Not
to
with that
recommend
card.
that card unless you're just doing some, you know, stuff by yourself, and that's it. And some
Yep.
cheap, easy, AAA not AAA games, esports
Yeah.
games.
Now,
Yep.
where is GPU? Is it under video cards?
Yep.
Type G? No. Video cards, yeah.
Did they really?
I don't know,
There's
I'm
a
looking.
there's a there's a
Where does that category go?
section
Because this
for it.
this got
Yeah.
me. GPU. Yeah, it's alphabetized.
Yeah.
That's why it got me.
Gotcha.
There you go.
But yeah. Oh my gosh. If there's a
Mhm.
bunch of 1 gig cards here, there's your capture device. You didn't list that, did you? I can't believe Joe
That's none
listed
of
the
your concern,
XR1.
sir. You sent it
Yeah.
to me. No, I'm just
Yeah, I
kidding.
sent you this
So,
capture board. You already sold it. That's a good price actually on that capture card.
yeah.
I paid more than that, but yeah, I'm not seeing a lot, sadly. And it's because I also filtered. But let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go
there
look
was
at.
there was a 3070 GPU on there earlier. So the cool thing about Java is that they kind of monitor these listings, and
Mhm.
so you're not going to get anything crazy cheap, but they keep the scalping prices out. And so if they see a listing that has scalper pricing on there, they go and they deal with that and make sure that we're not spending $3,000 on a 3090 like we're craft computing or something, or
Like we
someone
had
who
that kind of
actually
money.
needs a 3090. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
I
there's
mean,
there's the listings. Yeah, you can get
yeah.
225. That's a good
So
deal.
yeah, and I
588
mean,
gig for 400. I mean, that's not insanely bad, but it's not great. I mean, knowing that
yeah.
I could buy them for like
But
150
that
bucks
that's got an
a couple years
AIO
ago.
water. I think that's got a water block
What
on it
is it?
though.
Yeah, what does that say? I was curious about
With
that.
AIO water cooler.
Huh?
So he's got a water block coming with it. That's
Oh,
kind of
that's one of those custom kit or
yeah, that's
those third-party kits you can buy.
a little too special for me. But like even this one,
Remember,
this is
everyone, just because you can doesn't mean you should. So
this is a
Yeah,
great card and a great deal. $200.
that's
yeah,
not bad at all.
You have a
Considering
nitro.
our market, I would highly recommend that.
Yeah, that's a great deal. So I bought my first transaction went really, really well. Actually, I got sorry, I don't want to show his name, but this is what he packed. It's actually probably over packaging that he packed it in. He had bubble wrap and everything in it. He did a good job on it. And
Yeah.
what's interesting to me is they didn't charge me tax, which may come back to get them eventually. Because my state, Washington, is crazy. So I'm assuming they're assuming that I'm going to fill out the paperwork and automatically
And you're
get
not.
the tax.
So yeah.
La 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 la.
Well, and here's the thing: they are in beta right now, so I don't think even if you're selling, there's no fees and all that good stuff. But since it is beta and it is new, yeah, kind of the selection is limited. But there's a lot of good builders on there, and there's a lot of good parts that you can get. And like I said, it's market price. They're not going to give you stuff half of MSRP or anything like that, but they are going to make sure that the prices are at least fair. So.
And these are full gaming machines. Like I was going to put some of my machines on here possibly just to try it out. And that's a 3060 with an 11600 for 1100. So, not insane deals actually. So there's a $700 3060 Ti, which is a good card on its own.
Sold.
Yeah, that's what I find. So, that was one place, obviously Jawa. I got at Newegg. Mercari. I don't know if you guys use Mercari.
I've seen like Zach's Tech Turf talk about it all the time. I haven't. The only thing I don't like about recommending something like Mercari is the fact that you're going to be waiting 2 months to get your stuff.
Yeah,
but it might be an outlet if you got the time to wait. So
here you
the
go.
other thing too is I haven't looked up their buyer protection. Whereas I know Jawa, eBay, some of those other sites, they've got good buyer protection. So it's buyer beware. I don't know what their protection is. Maybe it's really good. Like I said, I just haven't looked into it.
This one's interesting. I bought this laptop actually that I'm using off of Mercari. This Lenovo 730.
Oh yeah.
And I got a great deal on it. I paid $700 for it. It's a 1 terabyte and 16 gigs of RAM and an i7, and it's like touchscreen and everything. So I've had good luck, but this one bothers me because it's got Sapphire on the image and it says it's an MSI.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, someone could easily really just look right past that if they don't know what they're looking for.
Yeah. And then the person though has 9 reviews and 6 listed items and a bunch of sales, right? And a $240 5800X. And I don't know when he sold this or she. That was actually sold quite a few months ago. So if they haven't been shut down, that's not a bad price on a 5800, actually, even a month and a half ago. So
no, that's
really that was another option. They do actually have an interesting thing about their buyer protection, and I should say, then that's why I didn't feel so bad. Is you actually get a few days to inspect your item before they release the funds too.
Right.
So that one worked. But on the other hand, I did order like a C200 camera from Canon off of it, and the guy he sent me like a thing of pencils. So I didn't pay for that one. They already canceled it even before it got here because he had some other fraudulent stuff. But that's the hard part. So I do like
quality on those pencils. So
it was really bad. The f-stop was just massive, But
if you're a better artist, I feel like it would have been better.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. The other I have to point out, Zach on our Discord, he had an extra. I just took it out. This is the Sapphire Nitro 580. He sold me that yesterday. So if you've got friends, that have extra cards, that maybe he'd be getting these 3060s. I've seen a lot more 3000 series NVIDIA cards out. It's crazy. They've been showing up. Like people have been able to get them at least. And when you're able to get them, then you sell your old card off, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm hoping with hopefully crypto goes down, and sorry for anyone who may be mining crypto right now, but hopefully the trend continues for us gamers and cards become, or I will be fine with crypto staying around if we're able to actually keep getting stuff. If the manufacturers can crank out more volume, then I'll take it. So.
And I do have to cheat. I have to bring up Roguecast because somebody in the chat brought up Roguecast real quick. So I'll bring them up.
I checked them today. They didn't have inventory on hardly anything.
All out of stock. And that's sad because that's where I got my 6800. I literally was doing a live stream, and this is what I did kind of want to chat about actually with you guys. I had the RX 6600 XT. I did a
Mhm.
live stream for Roadcast. It was $529, and everybody was busting them over that $20. And you can't find a 6600 XT right now for less than $550 now. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Mhm.
And that's the funny thing is that's like the next generation card above this one. And so this one being $199, the next thing is $300. That's 2.5 cards more, right? I think
Yeah.
that's where we kind of have to put this card in its respective place, right?
What's their listings for Sapphire Nitro 6900s going for? I bought one of those that when you sent me that link long time ago. Or
Ooh,
they, I mean, I
they
guess
don't
the
even
price.
have anything listed. I'm going to go AMD. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're in the no stock.
I think that thing was like 1800, 1900
It's
when
18.
there
Yeah.
it is. Yep.
Good day, Corinne.
Beast.
Hey,
Or
he made
I
it.
butchered it in Aussie, so or New Zealand. Sorry, somewhere on that side.
Oh man, you know what? And I'm in a different profile in Restream, so I don't have his video loaded. I feel weak. But
Fail.
yeah,
Professional
good day
streamer,
for you.
guys. Let's.
Yeah, we're the budget streaming here. So, but yes, we did find. I got to pull this up because I totally made this graphic for the channel. We did find the GPUs. They just were not exactly where we expected them. There we
I
go.
found some.
You did. You killed it today. You slayed that GPU mark.
That is the biggest crazy. I mean, I know they're not like it's not like I went and picked up a bunch of 3080s or something like that, but
Right.
I've never picked up 4 cards at once. It
Well,
felt
and
like a drug deal. I'm not gonna lie.
exactly. So there are places to get them out there. That's the good news. And as far as what we got going on, I know we got to wrap up here shortly, but I just want to tell you guys. So this 12th gen stuff that we've been talking about, that's over here on my desk. I'm doing an Amazon Live tomorrow, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern, if Pinky's allowed to stay up late. He can watch
Nope.
that. But if you want to see more about the 12th gen, and the sad part is I can't really do an efficient 6500 XT live stream because you can't buy them from Amazon. Like they're not
Yeah.
there. I'll have to go look. So, but that's what I got going on. Joe, what do you got going on?
Trying to get this review done of the Vitra U6 that they sent me. So we're gonna test that out. It's a dual tower cooler, and trying to get that done. I was supposed to install it yesterday, but figured destroying my computer before a live stream was probably not the best way to go. So
Not.
Yeah, I saw your post about that. I was like, oh man, they make it. That looked pretty cool. Yeah.
yeah, it is. It's a nice looking cooler. We'll see how it performs, but it's supposed to be 220 watt TDP, so putting it
bet
up
they're
against my
fine.
10850K should be good.
Yeah.
And I'll be actually taking out their 360 millimeter AIO and replacing that. So we'll see how it looks, and maybe it ends up staying. Who knows? So.
Cool.
That's awesome. Anything over there, Dan, before we head out?
Yeah, aside from just trying to finish up like I said, the summary on that build, that I'm aiming to get that out by Wednesday. I think I can make it. I've still got some benchmarks to run on it though, so but yeah, then like I said, I got I'm targeting each month a different budget to work with. So I'm not putting out anything in the $2,000 to $3,000 range because this is coming out of my pocket after all. So
Yeah.
I'll work my way there to it. So I got to flip this and maybe some of these video cards. So, but yeah, that's something I'll be trying to diversify and probably pull my audience and try to just get an idea. Okay, we did 600 2 months ago. We did 400. What about a 750 or something? So, and I'm trying to keep it. What my channel's more about is being about people, the budget range that people really want to go spend money on instead of these over the top crazy builds or anything like that. So but yeah, that's what I got going on.
Absolutely. And I'm just pulling it up over here real quick. I gotta say one last time, we were trying to get Pinky Tech to 1,000.
Hype.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we just need 400 people. Go click the
400
subscribe
people
button.
on this stream. If you haven't yet gotten to Pinky Tech there and hit the sub button, go ahead and do that. Yeah, it's awesome. Dan and Joe, thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. It's been a cool Monday night show. If you guys like this show, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Give it a
Absolutely.
like. Obviously, sub. And let us know if you'd like to do this more. There's lots of cool tech coming out. I like the fact that we can actually benchmark live. I did not expect the 6500 to be 8% faster, at least in that game.
I was kind of surprised. Yeah.
For something with a warranty that you can buy, that could make a good budget gamer. So we'll see. Maybe Zach was right. Maybe not. So, awesome. For Dan, for Joe, this is John, the Net Guy. I'm going to be signing off. Thank you guys all for joining, and we will catch you all in a future video.
Yep.
Sure.
In the next one.
Sounds
Catch you in the next
reasonable.
video. Next
Catch
stream.
y'all later.
All right.